What's happening? It is the 30th of June. It's over, guys. Going on to July now. So this is it. This is the last time we'll be able to do video in June of 2023. Interesting how time just keeps ticking. So speaking of time ticking, some of you might know the story how I got into the industry. Some of you don't. So let me just kind of tell you a quick little story here. I used to work, ran heavy equipment, drove truck, worked in the mines. I was on a cattle ranch in high school, left that to work in the oil fields of Wyoming. I've had all this background and all these things. In my early 20s, I worked in the mines in northern New Mexico with my pop. We sold the ranch back in the 90s, and in the late 90s, I was doing the mining thing. That's what you have back here is my helmet, my pop wore. There's this mine paraphernalia back here, right? So it kind of reminds me where I came from. But when they shut down the mines, I figured I'd come back to Arizona and get a job really easily. I was in northern New Mexico, I had a wife, I had an infant son here. I came back and man, everything I applied for, I couldn't get a job to save my ass. Everybody kept turning me down because I was overqualified. I got to hate that freaking word because I didn't know what it meant. I mean, damn, I was 23 years old. I could do really anything. I've run so much equipment. It's done so many different jobs. Then I even got to the point where I was going to do a $10 an hour truck driving job hauling landscape rock for this landscape rock company over right off of the I-10 just south of the 60. And they turned me down saying I was overqualified. I said, I'm leaving that little project. They have like a shed for an office. I got in my truck and kind of literally wiping tears from my face. And I decided to head, as I'm heading home, I had to stop at a grocery store to get diapers for my kid, but I had a coupon for free diapers because I didn't have any money to get diapers. As I'm driving to the store, my gas light comes on my truck. I didn't know how long I could go on a gas light. So I just went to the first place I could find that had a gas station. It happened to be where there's a grocery store. So I pulled up to a gas pump. I only had a debit card, no other way to pay for it. Said a quick prayer, swiped my card, and I got a decline. I felt my prayer was unanswered. So I rifled through my truck, found a few coins, closed the door, locked it, and I walked that parking lot at that grocery store and that gas station for it felt like a couple hours. I got enough change to get about 2 gallons of gas. Now think about this is 1997. Of course, people still carried change and gas was pretty cheap back then. It wasn't like it is now. It would have taken me a hell of a lot longer now and longer because hardly anybody carries any change. So went into the grocery store after I got my gas, took my coupon, I got my diapers, and I'm standing in that line with one item and a coupon for that item. Now, there may be a lot of you have had that experience. It doesn't feel good. It sucks. And I did not like it whatsoever. I hurriedly got my diapers in the bag and I started heading for the door with my head down. I didn't want to look at anybody. And I heard my name being called. I turned to face a guy that used to run the office for a company I used to dig swimming pools for. His name was Keith. He asked me how things were. I kind of recited a little bit, sugarcoated a bit, so it didn't feel like I was in dire circumstances. And he said, hey, let's go to dinner. I told him I couldn't afford dinner. He goes, no, I got a gift certificate to Red Lobster from a client. My client, he explained that he's no longer running an office for an excavation company, but he is now in the mortgage industry, which the mortgage industry had a very negative connotation to me, very negative. All I knew about mortgages is that the old man, the old lady on the TV show was losing their farm to this thing called a mortgage. So it didn't sound like a good thing. But we went to dinner. He introduced me to this little broker shop, gave me a business card for the branch manager, a guy by the name of Scott, another great individual for me. I went and I interviewed. I cut a foot off my hair. I shaved. My mom bought me some clothes. Thank you, Mom. Helped me get started. And I started off as a telemarketer in December of 1997. Let me tell you, one of the most miserable damn things I've ever done in my freaking life. But because of this guy being there at the right moment, if I was out there picking up 1 or 2 more coins, I'd have probably missed him. If I found coins really fast that day to get my 2 gallons of gas, I would have missed him. It was perfect timing. So I said a prayer to have my debit card work, but it didn't work. I felt that my prayer was not answered, but it was answered. It took a long time to figure out how well it was answered. Now here I sit with a great team, working with a lot of great people. I got friends, not clients, people I do business with across the country. I'm going to be in the Northeast tomorrow, meeting up with a bunch of cool people out there, out in Maryland. So when we think about this, because that one act and that one negative, what seemed like a negative situation, I'm going to show you a picture with Keith. So I had lunch at dinner with him this week. That one negative situation actually become one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. Getting my ass kicked so bad that I was at the point that I would accept anything, put me in a position to have I would say everything, but an amazing existence. Ranked number 7 in the United States in my industry, 1.some million people doing this job. Number 1 in the real estate investment space. Number 1 in the state of Arizona, and I hardly do any even business here. But I just showed you Keith. I reached out to him first time in 23, 24 years. We went to dinner. And I appreciate you, Keith. Thank you. Thank you for being able to just listen to whatever's going on. Thank you for whatever sparked that thought to introduce me to this. Thank you. I appreciate that. Look back at whoever it was that maybe made an influence in your life, somebody that made that change. Reach out to them this week. Say, hey, see how they're doing. You may be able to do something for them. Return that favor. I'm hoping I can for Keith. There's some things I'm working on right now to build this business back up. I'm going to be able to do something to bring him aboard, be even part of the team. I want to come full circle. So I got to get this back up. I got to get back to 100 loans a month, guys. I need your help to do that. So I appreciate you all and the trust you put in my team. So let's talk about the markets here, see what's going on in that. So here is, of course, the charts. We talk about these a lot. Very predictable that we're going to hit some point that's going to drive it down. It did drive it down. Some news forced it down yesterday. A lot of negative things came up, but we bounced right off of support. Yeah, a little above it. We didn't quite hit the support, but we bounced off of it. And we're back up. Not back up very far. So our rates are still worse than they were 2 days ago, but we're on a rebound. Is that rebound going to continue? I don't know. We could be trading in this range now. I would hope that we get back up into this 200-day moving average. I think that we're going to continue to work this way down. As you see here, we're going to continue to work into this particular area. We may be in this trading range pretty definitively here soon. But I don't see we're going above this line that I established before. That was the line that was established back in 2008 where quantitative easing started. So that's my 2 cents. That's where I think the market's going. Right now, we're worse than we've been the last few days, period. That's just the way it is. We look like we're going potentially positive, but we don't know how long it's going to take to get there. There may be some news that pushes it negative. But right now, guys, all I can tell you is lock. Don't worry about the rates. We are still phenomenal interest rates. I was just at an event this last week where they had a lot of the next generation, a lot of millennials and Gen Zers there, and mostly Gen Zers. The majority of their life was interest rates below 5%. And when I was that age, the majority of my life was interest rates of double digits. Think about that. We're in a phenomenal spot right now with our current rates. Don't pass up this opportunity. Don't shop the shit out of it. Find somebody you trust. Lock that damn thing because it's only getting worse. And the more you shop, the worse it gets. And you're going to go back to worse rates than where you would have started had you just locked it when you had the first opportunity. Appreciate you guys. aaron.chapman.com. Scroll down. Go to the donate button. We need to do something about this human trafficking shit. We got to get something happening out there. Just be aware of it. Go see Sound of Freedom. And I'll get back with you on Tuesday, probably from Northeast.